All right, at 6:30, I'm going to call the meeting to order. So 2.0 prayer. Mr. Whalen.
All right. Let's pray. Lord God Almighty, thank you for this opportunity once again to come before you and serve the people of Stephenson County. Pray that we do so amicably and edifyingly so, and to be cognizant of the things that are important to the people of this county. Specifically tonight with the nursing center, consideration of what's in the best interest of the people that live there, the people that work there, and really the people of the county as a whole that have to support it. So I thank you for the opportunity. Pray that we do well, and pray that you would bless this time. In Jesus' name.
Thank you. 3.0 approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Bush, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Easter, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 4.0 review and approval of meeting minutes from December 14th.
So moved.
And Mr. Bush, do I have a second?
Second.
And Ms. Denise, any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.0 approval of tonight's claims. Totaling in the amount of cash requirements manuals is $198,115.36. Pending funding, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Okay, do I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
One, so carries 3 or 4 to 1. All right, 6.0 public comment. Do you have any public comment? Please state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Laura Youngblood.
Can you go so that way the Al can pick you up?
Or even right here where it's lighter, you just come like that.
All right, my name is Laura Youngblood. I'm here to talk about private equity firms. The Pro Pavilion just had another wrongful death there under a private equity firm as well. And just gonna spot off my usual facts. Recent research has found that resident outcomes are significantly worse at private equity-owned nursing homes. That's from the White House. Direct care and activities of daily living by aides are lowered in private equity firms. That's from the National Library of Medicine 2022. Private equity firms have 29% decreased registered nurse patient per day interaction. That's from Health Finance Journal. Private equity firms have 25% less skilled staff within the overall staff. When facilities change ownership, so your goal to sell the facility, just so you know, registered nurse retention usually decreases from 72% to 61%. Certified nursing assistants who provide most of the daily care, their pay decreases. Direct staff hours decrease per resident per day. And then regarding, let's go to safety. Preventable hospitalizations increase 8.7% in private equity firms compared to public nursing homes. That's from JAMA. Residents within private equity firms, death rate is 10% higher than public nursing homes. Private equity firms tend to have poorer pressure sore prevention outcomes. This is based in 2021, so we just had the pandemic begin. Private equity firms tend to have less personal protective equipment, PPE, on hand. Private equity firms, COVID outcomes led to 30% higher infection rate and 40% higher death compared to statewide averages. According to cost, private equity firms, residents will pay 11% more per 90 days than public nursing homes. Long-term care may not be a priority to private equity firms because Medicare reimbursement is lower than Medicaid reimbursement post-acute care. Medicare costs increase $1,080 per year per resident than in private equity firms. And then, preventable emergency department visits increase 11.1% in private equity firms compared to public nursing homes. So yeah, please keep Walnut Acres in public. Thanks.
All right, yes, if you wanna.
Sure. Dave Scheck Snyder, howdy, been on the county board before. In fact, I've been on this committee before. And I don't have the stats to argue with any of those numbers. The problem is that I have the experience to argue with every one of those numbers. Anybody ever worked for a committee? I haven't, but I've been on the committee side with people working for me. It's hard to work for a committee. It's hard for the county board to be an expert. We can look at areas where the county board has tried to be an expert. We can look at land development. We can see how Mill Race has turned out. We took $2 million land purchase, frittered away millions of dollars on it, and have rolled that up into more bonds and more bonds. I'm not sure what the total is now. It was 12 million right before I got on the board. If we refi, that'll be more. We've gone through several nursing home directors under committee, and they sued us. And you can debate the reason they sued us, but they sued us primarily because county boards are really lousy to work for. It's hard to be managed by a county board and by a group. Who do you listen to? Which one? And if you're the kind of individual that's prone to take advantage of a situation, our county board, at least the mix when I was there, they weren't too prone to fire anybody. So you could kind of be a jerk and get away with it. When I was on the nursing home committee, what do we have? 120 or so beds occupied? What are we down to? 30 something now? How do we maintain that? Do you guys know what it's like to try to get CNAs to try to pay for that? Interestingly enough, in a public venue in the state of Illinois, you can't do some of the kind of incentivized things because we can't pay benefits in cash. We have to give the benefit because we're part of the state of Illinois. Private firms, though, they don't have to do that. So if you want to work on instead of on a schedule, but as shifts become available, I know nursing homes across the state line that pay a premium for those kind of services. Illinois can't do it as a public nursing home. I tell you what, this has cost Illinois a lot of money. The numbers don't look good at present. I would strongly encourage you guys to be really thoughtful about what does it mean for the county that keep its fingers in something else that isn't going well. Thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. A lot of what Mr. Schneider said, I also can go toe to toe with and dispute. You know, our counties have this nursing home for a really long time. The people that live in this county have said that this is what they want to spend part of their tax dollars on. And we're not running it, TCM is running it. So, you want to know the first thing that the person did that found the person that was bleeding to death on the floor at Pearl Pavilion? They ran to go get the paperwork in order, and they let the man die.
Okay, any more comments? Seeing none, all right. We will move on to 7.0, reports to committee. I would like to welcome Adrian to her first nursing home committee as the interim administrator. Something that Adrian and I are going to be working on is information and just reports. So I'm going to leave it up to her to start it off with the administrative report.
Okay, so I did get an agenda, and so I'll go over the information. So currently our census is 41, so we have 3 Medicare, 4 Medicare replacement, 29 Medicaid, 2 private, and 3 residents that are on hospice services. The facility maintenance report currently, we don't have anything in place, but next Wednesday we will be having our FWAPI along with our safety committee meeting, and the facility maintenance committee. I am looking into a web-based service to be able to keep all the building information available. It's called TELS. It's a building management for senior living. It keeps all the documents that are needed, especially for the survey, in one place. It helps the maintenance director stay on task with drills that are needed for to be in compliance, but I don't have all the information yet. What we're, as far as hires, new hires, we did hire, we interviewed and I think proposed, gave her an offer letter, one new nurse, one CNA, and we are interviewing housekeepers. We termed one person last month, that was a housekeeper. What are we working on now? We are preparing for our annual survey. Our window is open, so they could walk in at any time. In preparing, we are completing competencies for all the staff that is employed there, updating those that have not been updated. We are working on in-servicing the staff for emergency preparedness, updating the binder that is currently there. We are working with the infection prevention nurse, making sure that everything is in place, the surveillance plan, the antibiotic stewardship. We are reviewing the policies that are currently in the building, making sure that they are updated and the building is made aware of the policies, and we are trying to put it in their workflow so it's, it just makes sense. So I talked about QAPI. So QAPI is Quality Assurance Process Improvement. That is what a nursing home is. We are people, we're not perfect, but the point of that is for us to be able to identify, self-identify what we're doing, what there's room for improvement on, and taking that plan and working through that the whole year. That incorporates nursing, environmental services, our therapy company, the pharmacy, the lab, the infection prevention nurse, the facility management, and obviously administration. We're reviewing their EMR system, which is Matrix, updating it and modifying it so it works for our clinical staff along with our billing person. I am currently working with the admissions director. She's newer to the building, but not new to the industry, and helping her identify, go through the referrals, and be able to answer, the hospitals faster. She is gonna work on going out into the community, building relationships, and therefore generating more referrals to the community. I'm new, but it is a business, so we should run it like a business. We should look at the bottom line. I'm looking at the contracts to make sure that it is cost efficient and also working for the community.
Question? Anybody have any questions?
When you say looking at the contract, are you talking the TCM contract or managing it, or?
No, I'm looking at any contract that the facility has signed. I think they have a contract for cleaning services, just evaluating it and seeing if there's any cost savings
Gotcha.
there. I am not looking at TCM's contract.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, thank you. 7.2, TCM, so I think we're going to go ahead.
To get Mr. Filippo on the line.
Hi, this is Mike.
Hi, Mike. Scott Helms.
Hey, Scott.
How are you?
Been pretty sick all week, but,
All right. Well, you are next on the agenda if you're ready to go.
I am.
All right.
So you wanna start with the P&L?
Please, if you would.
Okay. November's P&L shows, a little more than a $14,000 loss. That's due to, census is only 38.4, and some of the costs went up on November 1st. The liability and workers' comp insurance went up some, health insurance went up a little bit, that's really the reason for that loss. Now, it is a little bit misleading. If this statement that you're looking at right now that shows a $14,000 loss was January, the difference between November and January is, if you remember the tax levy, 420,000 of the tax levy was received in December of 22. So we didn't count that at all in 2023. We counted the other 80,000. But starting January 1st, there'll be a new tax levy of 500,000, a fresh number. And so there is a tax levy line here of $6,587 a month. That will go up to $41,587 a month. So we'll probably see a similar loss in December of around this 14,000. And then in January, we will see the uptick of that extra 35,000 in there. We'll be back to a small profit again. The one thing that can change the numbers drastically is higher census, obviously. I know we've upticked a couple, or 40 with one in the hospital. But to really make an impact, we really need to get to that 50 number, I believe, and then we can actually start chopping some good wood. Any questions on the P&L?
Does not appear so.
Okay, let's go to the accounts receivable. The accounts receivable statement that you're looking at, $1,510,000, is overstated. I did a deeper dive this time. Is overstated by $118,772.95. What that represents is there were some write-offs that we recommended and the board approved them, and we wrote them off in the software system of Matrix. But because they were so old, Matrix, the software is not handling it at all. It allowed us to back out these numbers, but it won't. When we run this report, it keeps these numbers in. So there's a glitch with Matrix, and we're trying to work through with them. But effective next month, if we haven't worked this through, then we'll just manually back this out. So in that over April and later category, this is 511, 152.74. It's really more like 390,000 in that category. Any questions on that?
Do not believe so.
Okay. Cash flow. Cash flow right now, we're paying some heavier upfront fees for the liability and workers' comp insurance. We paid $99,000 in December. I think we're about to pay another $49,000, and then we've got some more payments like that. Then they'll go away for the rest of the year. So definitely hurting on cash flow. Cash flow, if you look at the ending cash for every week, will continue to get worse and worse until we actually can get that tax levy money, in which case it will get better. And if we can't get the census up, then we certainly can eliminate the debt this year. If we don't get the census up, then I don't think we can eliminate the debt. I know we talked a little bit about at the last meeting about requesting the tax levy money earlier, which we'll talk with Adrian next week, and Adrian's the administrator, and both Adrians, I think, in order to, I know it has to be driven from the nursing home side, but we'll try and get that request in, before the next nursing home committee meeting and see if that helps. If the money is available, that'd be great. All we can do is try. Any questions on the cash flow?
Hey, Mike, this is Tim.
Hey, Tim.
How are you? On looking between the AR report and the cash flow report, obviously, if we could get some more of this revenue in, that would tremendously help on the cash flow side. What is the holdup on a lot of these?
It's the system. It's the Medicaid system. There's probably like 5 different buckets of issues, and these are normal issues. So there's nothing to be like overly alarmed about, but there's like 65,000 in one bucket. 66,000 in one bucket that we've had to appeal. And we did nothing wrong. They were just denied. These MMA companies, sometimes they're tough. We expect to collect every dime of that 66,000. But so there's one bucket. Another bucket is, let's see. When people go from straight Medicaid to Medicaid MMAI, you kind of have to start the whole process over a little bit. And so there's like a 3-month delay all of a sudden in getting payments. It's truly just the system, the Medicaid system.
But at that point after the 3-month delay, they're supposed to catch that up, correct?
That's correct. But it's like you always have some people in that 3-month delay bucket. And then, you have the 3-month catch-up bucket too.
Sure. No, that's understandable. The point at which I get concerned is, again, once we get over 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, we can't operate like that, in my opinion. It may be a systematic issue, but if there is a systematic issue, we need to figure out what that is. Because this, in my opinion, is not acceptable. We can't continue to run like this. $1 million, whatever it is, $1.3 million, even in the hole, over a year's time frame. So it's just.
Right. So if you look at, one of the indicators on this cash flow sheet is, and if you're just looking at a PDF piece of paper, it's not going to really,
sure,
you can see it. But if you're looking at, if you actually have the Excel worksheet open, line 13, line 14, which is total sources, it's easy to just kind of go month by month. December, we collected, just kind of add the 5 categories. We collected a little over 500,000. That was a good month. You look at November, we collected 361. That wasn't that good a month, but some of it caught up in December. So you can kind of track it, that way to see if we're over or under what is being stated on like the P&L.
Right. I guess my overall point is, if you go back to April, even if that's April or earlier, if that's now 300 and some $1,000, you add that with May, there's 400 grand right there. You wouldn't need the $400,000, fronting of the tax abatement. So again, how do we get this revenue side moving better is my question in general. If there's no way to do it, then I'm flummoxed. I don't know what you do with that, because I don't see how you run a business like this.
Yeah, I don't have a better answer.
That was mine. Sorry. Sorry, Mike.
That's okay. Yeah, I was just saying, I don't have a better answer. It's just the system, and there are months where you catch up, and there are months where you fall behind, and it all averages into one delayed payment system.
We don't. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any questions for TCM while they're on the call?
Yes, I do. Mike, I noticed that we got a statement here dated 4/9/2024. And it looks like a balance of 134,180. Money that is due to you since, your company, due to you since June, July, August, September, October, and November. So you have not received anything. When was the last time you received the payment from the county?
I think it was the last time that I brought it up. You know, we got a few payments, after that, and then it's been a couple months, of which, we're kind of in the same ballpark again. We really need to see like 3 payments in the very near future.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, we need to pay you guys and everything. And, if we got to move, our tax money ahead of time to the nursing home, I'm all for that. Thanks, Mike.
All right.
While we're on that issue, Mike, one of the things that I've been just researching a lot of this stuff over time, I noticed back in the minutes from 2022, when we engaged your company, it appeared to me that the statement was made that we were going to be billed on collected revenue. Can you clarify that point? Because it looked to me like in the contract that was never clarified completely, unless the reconciliation is part of that process, which we don't seem to do as often as I'd like to see.
I honestly thought we beat this horse to death already. We do bill on, there's 2 parts to this. So in the end, we bill on collected money, but we bill upfront on accrued money.
Mhm.
And then every time we have to write something off from our era, we refund the 5% feedback. I mean, that's how it states in the contract. We've been through this over and over and got Carl involved. So I don't have a better answer for you. I believe the way the contract is written is the way that we are billing. And, we use that contract for dozens of other places and stole this section from another organization at one point that, billed it for that way. It's the industry norm. It's what you're looking at there in the contract.
So if revenue isn't collected for over a year, even if it's not written off at that point, it's still, in your opinion, good, right? I mean, that's what you've been stating, like a lot of this April and before revenue is still 95% collectible.
But if we believe it's collectible, then as long as we don't write it off. But I understand where you're going with that, and you're right. I mean, if you're questioning, hey, this account for $40,000 has been on the books for, the private pay has been on the books for, over a year. Why haven't you written it off? Well, we should be writing that off. And you're free to question that till the cows come home. And so every quarter, we do recommend write-off. And, as December ended already, when we reconcile here, we will have some recommendations for write-off, at the next meeting. And I'm sure that some of them will be in the TCM era. And we'll have to give a credit back. But these are not huge dollars like we used to see.
Yeah, it's just we're having a hard enough time paying our bills with the revenue that we're collecting, and obviously you are one of them. And I agree with Bill. I want to see you guys get paid. I don't have any issues with that. But it just doesn't make it any easier when we don't have the cash flow to do it. So, thank you.
Mike, it's Adrian. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Who's doing the collection?
We have a whole collection team at TCM.
Okay,
Yeah, they're on our payroll. It's not an outside company.
okay.
Any more questions for TCM? Doesn't look like it.
Does not look like it. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right, moving on to 7.3, Helios update.
None to give.
8.0, old business, no old business. 9.0, new business, no new business. 10.0, executive session. So we will go into executive session of 5 ILCS 1202C 11 legislation when an acting action against an affecting or on behalf of a particular public body has been filed and pending before the court or administration tribunal. So,
Can you finish that, please?
or when the public body finds that an action is probable or
Probable.
probable
Imminent.
and like
Move that we go into executive session.
Second.
Mr. Henley. I'm gonna take a roll call. So, Mr. Whalen?
Aye.
Mr. Meester?
Aye.
Mr. Bush?
Aye.
Mr. Hadley?
Aye.
Ms. Baker? Aye.
We'll call you when it's
We'll call you back.
back.
Sorry, I missed that.